Okay. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the very first community call for minorities in cybersecurity this year. I was traveling last month, so that we didn't have an opportunity to jump on the call, but wanted to share with you guys some updates and actually get into an interesting discussion that just popped out of the air for me this past month. So, of course, our leadership quote for this month is, without initiative, leaders are simply workers in leadership positions. And I'll bring that back around a little bit later as we go through what I mean by that. But, of course, understand that all the calls are recorded. They're the last Friday of the month, each month. You are muted now. You can unmute yourself by pressing *6 to get involved in the conversation, and I always love feedback. I really don't like silence. Chatham House rules applies to all calls, and what that means is feel free to share, anything that you've learned in these calls. Just understand that sharing an attribution or mentioning names that Mary said this or Mary said that is frowned upon, and be professional and respectful at all times. So everything that you say is a reflection of your own brand. So just remember that, and as we talk about some of the leadership traits, just take into consideration your brand and what you are trying to develop as an individual in this field. Community update, of course, social media. We're on Twitter. We're on LinkedIn under our name, Minorities in Cybersecurity, on LinkedIn, and then at Mac Leadership, and mine, of course, is at Mary Ann Chaney at Twitter. I don't know if Robin's on the phone. We have a new volunteer. We have a partnership with the University of Texas at Dallas. We have a new volunteer, Robin Red, who's been getting immersed in our organization and trying to get in and help us out, because I can't do it all, because I am a lawyer by my day job. So needing help, and she's been great. I also have another individual at City that's willing to help as we now, get ready for our first annual conference. The job board is up. I actually had a client of mine who posted a job on the job board. So be mindful if you are out there and you are looking for a job. I usually press or push people to our job board to post, to have access to members and non-members, so we can actually find the thousands of millions or however many jobs and open positions in cybersecurity, so we can start trying to make a change and a difference with that. Memberships, of course, you have student membership, nonprofit and government membership, and professional memberships. Those are the current costs. We're probably going to do a membership drive here before our conference coming up in September. So be on the lookout for that. Hopefully all of you are signed up for our mailing list and you get our internal emails. And we do have corporate memberships. If you belong to a corporation and you have a group of individuals that would like to take advantage of the programming that we offer here at Mike, then talk to somebody in your organization, or better yet, send me their information and I'll talk to them about becoming a member of our organization. And, okay, so conference. Yes, we have solidified the dates. I have the actual registration page up. Members, of course, receive a 10% discount. The conference is here in Dallas, Texas, which is where I am, September 22nd and 23rd, 2020. We are currently working on the speakers and agenda and sponsorships is what we're doing right now. And so if you guys want to try your hand at speaking, reach out to me. I'm good for putting someone that's never talked before on stage, at least in a panel setting, because that's part of your brand. That's part of you now developing your brand and getting out there as a subject matter expert. So definitely want a broad range of individuals involved. It was so humorous to me as I was brainstorming potential speakers. I literally had to say, I need to find some men because I have a lot of dynamic women in and around my life. And I said, oh, no, I said, I can't be that that person that has a diversity conference and, don't have any men on, is not diverse as well. So I did find some, and there are a couple guys on my board. So we're working on that as well, being mindful of the people that we have representing the organization as a whole, and then providing you guys with guidance, because the agenda is a little different. As we're working on it, as you may know, you may not know, Minorities in Cybersecurity is organized based on where you are in your career. So we have programming geared towards individuals that are trying to get into cybersecurity or have just gotten out of college. We have content available for those that are in their entry-level role and now they're trying to build their career. We have content for individuals that are in their career and now they think they want to be a manager and what that may look like. And then we have programming for individuals that want to move beyond management into the executive suite. So all of our programming is designed, and the conference tracks are going to be designed with those things in mind. So look forward to it. We're going to get the agenda up as soon as possible. It's still months out, but, I work pretty fast. So still training opportunities available with Secure World. We have discounts that are available with them. And so if you live in these towns or you're attending any of Secure World's conferences, just let me know and I can get you that discount code as well. All right, what else we got? Of course, the community call is today. On the Mike With interview series with our board is still posted out there on our About Us page. We will also be using the On the Mike With platform to feature our speakers for the conference. So as speakers come on board, we'll do like a 10 to 15-minute interview with them or a clip highlighting what they're doing for the community so you guys can get an understanding of the types of individuals that will be speaking at our conference. So I'm really excited about that. The monthly Leadership Book of the Month Club, which is normally run by Lori Young, will be run by me. The February Book of the Month, actually it should be February, the 21 Indispensable Qualities of a Leader, and that's by John C. Maxwell. And the call is in March. The March call will be led by me, and that's for members only. And hopefully, if you guys are getting our emails and our newsletters. So I know I ran through that pretty quickly. Were there any questions about that before we get into our conversation about initiative today? Remember *6 to unmute yourself. I will take that as nobody has any questions. Okay, I'm assuming you guys hear me. Okay, so initiative. So what happens with me is I hardly ever prepare. Don't take this the wrong way, but as a speaker, I speak so often that usually there are topics and things that pop in my brain as I'm out and I'm talking to other people. And I was talking to a group of individuals through their Black Heritage Network function for Black History Month celebration here at City in Irving, Texas here. And one of the questions that I received by an attendee there was, Mary, how do you do all that you do? What is it about you that makes you do all the things you do? And for those of you who don't know what I do, I'm an attorney. Also, I run the nonprofit. I'm also a college professor at the University of Cincinnati. I'm also a single mom of 2 children. And there's a lot of stuff that I do. I'm a public speaker in the community itself. And the question was valid. And I explained to her that basically there's inside me this drive, right? And so I was trying, of course, that stuck with me as I was, reading and thinking about what is it about me or what has happened in my career that has led me down this path, from the tech geek to law school to the special agent to entrepreneurship to, corporate America, being an executive in corporate America. What was it? What are those things? And the word that came to mind, or one of the words that came to mind, was initiative. And the initiative is, of course, defined as the ability to assess and initiate things independently. And this trait in leaders is one that I would love to explore, and we're gonna talk about things. And if you've listened to the call before, I try to leave you guys with things that you can now incorporate in your life going forward to try to cultivate these types of traits. So we'll start in, and I have Dina, who's on my board of directors, Dr. Dina, and I want her to chime in as well on her experience. But we'll talk about these three things independently, and if you guys have questions or comments or anything you want to jump in, please do so. And like I said, *6 to unmute yourself. But the first thing that I thought about when thinking about initiative is what protection of your mindset. So oftentimes when we're in situations that, we're trying to make a decision about what we want to do or what a type of decision that we want to make, we're either repetitively thinking about something, or it comes in our mind and it goes, or, we don't really focus in on, how do I make this individual decision? So I think there are a lot of distractions out there. There are a lot of things out there that we do that can distract us from trying to change our mind or make a decision, and that's whether it be social media, whether it be, television, or, epidemics like the coronavirus and all of these things that are going on that could prevent us from trying to make a decision. And, those things that I've come across so many different things in my life that I've actually literally had to stop and decide what I was going to do, what path I was going to take. And it doesn't always come easy, right? And I laugh because usually when I'm stuck, when my mind is stuck or I'm obsessing, because I have part OCD as well, but when I find myself obsessing over something, I have all these books, like literally books. I don't do the e-readers or anything like that. I have books in a bookshelf, and it's an overflowing bookshelf at this point, that I can pick up a book and just open a page. And opening that page is usually a message that I receive out of that opening that page or that activity that helps me refocus on what it is that I'm trying to do. So, whether it be a leadership book, whether it be a spiritual phrases or affirmations, and, being able to now unplug from the noise that goes on down there and reconnect with ourselves to stop that whole battle that's going back and forth in our heads. You have to silence that noise to be able to get your mind to focus on what am I going to do to initiate a change in my life. So changing your mindset is number one. So I'm actually going to do these and, each one, and then come back and ask, and if you guys have any questions about what I'm saying, or you have any comments about showing initiative. And the second one I want you guys to write down, so hopefully you guys write down. Number one is change your mindset, and you have to figure out how to change your mindset and focusing in on the positive things that's going on. The second one is don't wait for somebody to tell you to do it. Now, this right here, initiative. Now, I used to be a hiring manager. I used to have teams and people that work for me, and I know my teams and the people on my teams would get upset with me because they will come to me with a problem, looking for me to tell them what to do. And I would always say, well, what do you want to do about it? Because I can't always make the decision for you to change something that you see as wrong. So my advice that I'm giving you guys is, if you see a problem, volunteer to solve the problem. Everybody, especially if you're in corporate, if you're on a call and you're on corporate America, they have these things called stretch goals, goals and objectives. They make you want to write them down every year. And they corporate, depending on if you're in a structured environment like banking or if you're in an unstructured environment. I've been in both. You know, when I was with GE Capital, this was a big to-do. Goals and objectives were a big to do. The bell curve and being able to say whether or not you're, exceed expectations, meets expectations, and all of that. It was a big deal that people stressed about. Hopefully you're not in that position, but if you are, you know the word stretch goal. You have to stretch outside of your day-to-day to be considered exceed expectation. Everybody else's meets. And so, when you see a problem, that's one of your opportunities to stretch yourself and to get outside of that comfort zone and do something else. And so you're not waiting for somebody. You're actually being proactive and going out there and doing something that will allow you to learn something new. You can't let the fear of failure, for instance, or not being able to be successful prevent you from stretching yourself and trying to pursue something different. And you just can't wait for your boss to tell you to do it, because if you my own philosophy was, if I have to tell you what to do, then why am I paying you to do your job? If I have to do your job and my job, what exactly am I paying you for? So that's number 2. Don't wait for someone to tell you what to do. You go ahead and take the initiative, and if you see a problem, you solve it yourself. And one of the last one, is just 3 today. The last one is, of course, just take action. So for me, in my life and how I've progressed in my career, I've always asked myself the question, why not you? Because I've been a pioneer in everything that I've done. I've been the first in my family to get anything. Get a lot of the things that I've accomplished today, I've been the first to do it. So I did not have someone guiding me or, from my family that has been through something to help me. It's just really been me, with my head down and hitting walls and going over and over and over again to try to figure things out. But it becomes but I'm not complacent. It's why not me? If there's something, why not me? Even if I've never seen a special agent for the FBI before in my life, why not me? If I have the opportunity because I have the grades or I have an opportunity that's being presented for me for the FBI that came to the law school and was recruiting, and had I not said to myself, well, yeah, you can do that too, then, I wouldn't have pursued that career. I mean, I've talked to many of attorneys that says, oh, yeah, the FBI, they came to my law school recruiting too, but I just didn't follow through. But they always think it's cool that I was a former special agent, for the FBI. And it's like, well, why didn't you try? Why didn't you, better to try and take action and not be successful and learn a lesson than to sit there and be envious of somebody else that has the initiative to do so. And sometimes with corporations can always be a challenge and corporations were always a challenge for me. So my corporate career lasted about 5 years. And corporate was always a challenge for me because my brain moved faster than anything could ever get done in corporate America. There was so many people that had to make a decision, and depending upon the leadership or the leadership type of culture that you had within your organization, some organizations you have the freedom to do new things, and it's more entrepreneurial like. that was GE Capital for me. You know, anything that I wanted to do, that I tried to do, I wanted to do database security. And so my boss was like, go ahead, do database security. You know, start it from scratch, do the, you know, get out there, get requests for information, go out there and do it. And so that was an environment that I actually excelled in, because any problem that I saw that needed to be fixed, I had the freedom to try to go ahead and fix it. Whereas other cultures that I was involved in, it took 15 different people to sign off on 15 different things, and then even if you did it, it took 15 different people to implement it. And so that was always a challenge for me, because, you know, from in my mindset, as long as I see a risk associated, because I ran security operations, so the things that I was seeing were things that could potentially lead to a breach. So if I don't have the, you know, flexibility to now take action upon something that I see, then that's just like, it's death to me. And it became corporate moves too slow, and then you can become complacent. And you can sit there and be like, okay, well, nothing's ever going to change about this environment, so I don't want to do anything. And that right there is dangerous. When you get to the point where you feel like nothing, even if I took action, nothing's going to change, and then you just stop talking, because that's what happened in my career. You know, when I saw these frustrating things that I'm trying to take action on, and I wasn't getting the support or the buy-in from not only my boss, but, you know, my boss's boss. If I didn't have that, if I wasn't even getting to the person that ultimately could make the decision, because I'm being stifled, you know, from my voice is not being heard to that level, that was death to me. And so, you know, I'm much happier at being an entrepreneur, and I say that just because I can move as fast as I want to and get the results that I need without consulting with anybody. I guess that's bad. It could be bad since I have control issues. I don't know. But it's like I can move and I can take action on stuff, you know, for my clients. You know, my clients actually appreciate the fact that I'm able to move faster and make these decisions. So that third one in regards to initiative is taking action. So what I would like to do, because we have a good contingent of folks on the phone, is to, talk about the three things that I just set out for you guys. You can share with me an experience that you have with initiative, the frustrations you feel from a lack of initiative or in your corporate environment, or what initiative, even talk about what initiative means to you. And I would love, Dr. Dina, I would love for you to chime in and share what your thoughts of on the Leadership Trait Initiative. Star 6. No? Nobody can get unmuted? I'll unmute everybody then. Uh-oh, that's not it. How do I unmute everybody? Oh,
Yay.
There we go. Yay, yay, yay.
I tried. I really tried. Okay, this is Dina. So you wanted me to comment on what I feel taking initiative is and why it's important. So I agree wholeheartedly. In fact, I've had very similar conversations with my team. Is, you know, initiative for me is non-negotiable. If you're not able to take initiative, then you're probably not, you know, the right fit for a member on my team, because I think it's so important for a professional at any level to be able to, you know, see a gap and want to fix it, see an opportunity and want to grasp it. And that's what initiative's all about. It's not just passively waiting to be told what to do. It's really grasping that opportunity. So I'm one who's always done that, and I think, when you're early in your career, it might be a little more intimidating, right, if you're dealing with a lot of senior people. But I think the key to it is developing professional courage. And that comes from believing in yourself and not being afraid to make a mistake, not being afraid of failure, because that's how we all learn. So that's why I think, I think we should all strive to take initiative in everything that we do, whether it's at our jobs, whether it's in our communities, regardless of the context. I think it really, it's not only a leadership skill, I think it's, to be a contributing member to society.
Right.
So that's my take.
Yeah. Anybody else out there have brave enough to take the initiative to join in the conversation, or are you just guys going to passively listen to us? Come on, somebody take the initiative.
Is there ever, so to the people on the call, is there ever a time where you have regretted not taking initiative, where you were like, I had that idea, why didn't I speak up? Or when something's gone wrong, thinking, I wish I had tried that. Or you've learned from not taking initiative.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is Mary. So, not necessarily an experience not taking initiative, but I have had an experience where I did take initiative and it backfired. The reaction and the response to it wasn't what I was expecting, and it was more of, for those that were in the military, if we wanted your opinion, we'd give it to you type of attitude. And so I experienced that in a different role that I had, and so that experience kind of carried with me through to now where I'm almost afraid to step outside of the box for fear of getting in trouble, getting my hand slapped, not getting any feedback on an idea or, something that I've done. And so that's kind of a scary thing, especially in the position that I'm in. I'm a technical person, but I'm 10 years into this career, and it's like, okay, well, which route do I want to go? Do I want to run, organizations, groups, teams, or do I want to stay on the technical side? And so those kind of fears play into, which direction I go in.
Yeah, that's tough. I think that, and it's really interesting to me. And was it a technology implementation? Was it, can you give a little bit more background on what it was, if you don't mind?
So it wasn't really an implementation. It was more of a, how do we fix a problem that we see with our customers? So when I worked at US CERT manages the government IPS system. And so we were putting a lot of, we weren't, our ISPs were putting a lot of indicators into their system to block, right? But it was causing a lot of issues downstream. And so, I took the initiative to figure out what the problem was, why it was happening, and came up with an idea of how to fix it. And when I went to my boss with that, he wasn't very happy that I came to him with a different way of trying to figure out what the problem was so we could stop the complaints from coming in. And it was just like, I had came to him twice with an idea for that, and it was both times it was like, no, don't come to me with that. No, that's not going to work. It's our job to fix the problem. And to me, working with the ISPs at that level, there was only 3 of them, that was a way to fix the problem. But he wasn't having that. And so it was like, oh, okay, well, let me keep my ideas to myself at this point, because obviously they're either not good enough or they're not wanted or whatever.
So he didn't have the ability to even think outside the box. It doesn't sound like he took your ideas seriously at all.
No, not at all.
Okay. Well, I mean, you can't let that stop you from, I mean, first and foremost, you're always going to have gatekeepers or blockers or someone that is in a position that they don't see the vision. And so I've had that happen plenty of times in my career, and it's their narrow mind that allowed the situation to fester more so than it was the idea. Coming up with the idea it's not even like you failed because you tried to implement it and it failed. It's just your ideas weren't being heard, which is, I think, a different take on it. And I don't think that, that, and I know how you can feel gun shy about that, because it's happened to you before, but you can't, you got to get up back on that horse again, because change is not going to happen if you keep all those things or all those ideas to yourself.
That makes sense.
That could be a whole other topic, how to deal with difficult bosses. Sorry. Closed-minded bosses.
Yeah, that we'll try to tackle that one at the conference as well. I think that, it's hard, like you said, when you have people that are blocking the initiatives, and I've had situations before that I've kind of sort of went around the blocker. And found my way, or found a way to be in the room with someone above that person, and just thought, hey, let me run this idea by you or something like that. But like you said, you're 10 years in. I'm assuming this happened when you were much younger in your career.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can't let that hangover stop you today.
Right.
You're amazing. So don't let that prevent you from deciding or trying to make the decision of where you want to go now in your career, whether you want to be take the route of a people leader and then go into the executive role, or stay as an individual contributor. That's a personal decision, a personal journey, but don't let the crazy boss from years ago prevent you from thinking that you don't have the capability to do whatever it is you want to do, because we all do.
Good point.
Anybody else want to take the initiative to talk to us? You guys not on mute anymore, so I don't know why we're quiet.
Hello.
Hello. Is someone trying to talk? Oh, you guys are so shy. And we have some good folks on the call that have unmuted themselves. I see it all. I'm a tech person. I can see. I could call you out because some of your names show up, but I won't do that. No, but I think that as we've been talking about, when you're trying to, especially if you're new, and we can do it from this perspective and show an initiative, when you are trying to get into cybersecurity, or you are a graduate or a student trying to get into the field itself, the initiative traits that you need to exhibit is just don't give up. I've been a mentor to many, and the challenge has been, we have all of these jobs out there, and, the difficulties minorities and women have found breaking into the field. And that initiative right there in regards to taking action, there are various ways that one can incorporate these types of traits. Just don't give up. Sometimes it's just about stamina, because you will get told no several times, and you may not get success. You may not have success the first time out. And like I said, I get calls or I get conversations with people all the time that are saying, well, what are they looking for? What are the employers looking for? Because I have this, and nobody will hire me. So even taking action and doing things in a different way. One of the questions that I received during the same conversation at Citi, someone asked me, well, what do you do when you get stuck? And I shared with them the story of last year. So I'm an entrepreneur. My law firm is, I have a law firm. I only practice in cybersecurity and privacy. And I'm only 2 years in, 2 years and like 2 months now. And so last year, the first year was good. Most of it was incident response, people calling me when they're having a problem. But those tend to be more financially windfall when they're dealing with an incident than they are when they're not. Now, my business model is not specifically just on incident response. It's on actually providing people preventative types of services. So last year was not a good year. And so I was feeling stuck. I was feeling like, things weren't moving at all, and I was there wasn't a lot of incident response calls, and it was just like, what am I going to do? And one of the other attorneys that I know, when I first came out, he was like, you just got to hold on for 2 years. If you hold on for 2 years, things start to change after year 2. So last year what I did to distract myself, because you can start to spiral. You can get caught up into an idea that, oh, woe is me, and I actually considered taking a job. And I interviewed for another corporate role only to find out corporate America wasn't for me again. But what I did was I decided to study for the CIPP. Like, I need another certification. So what I did and I purposely decided to distract myself from the spiral by focusing in on something positive, taking action in another place, which was, okay, well, if I'm a cybersecurity and privacy attorney, yes, I have Esquire at the end of my name. Yes, I have a CISSP, but what about the CIPP? So I ended up studying and taking and passing the CIPP, and then, the doldrums kind of go away when you're actually able to focus on something else, especially from a development perspective. And that's what you got to sort of trick yourself to take action in something else, and then that movement starts to move things in a positive way. So sure enough, January this year comes around, and I launched a new service offering, which I called VIP services, which is I sit as a virtual chief information security officer and chief privacy officer for my business, for my clients. And I closed 2 deals at the end of January that, and so it's just sometimes it's just holding on and taking action in other areas where you can't take action. Maybe you're in a corporate position that you can't move right now and you feel stuck. It's distracting yourself by doing something with, I used to distract myself with doing stuff with nonprofits or, getting on a speaker circuit or something. But that whole trying to get yourself unstuck is your responsibility as you're trying to move forward. So that, like I said, those are things that, as a leader, especially if you're thinking about becoming a people leader, as you transition, let's say you transition into people leadership and like Mary was talking about, she has to make that decision whether she wants to be a manager and how she wants to do that. The types of initiative that you would have to show in that capacity would be more like trying to understand people. I had to learn how to motivate individual personalities, whether they be extroverted, whether they be introverted. What is it that motivates them? So as a manager, it became less about me actually doing stuff with my hands-on. It became more about learning and trying to motivate others, which is a completely different level, completely different mental state. And the larger the team, of course, the more personalities you have. They come with different challenges as well, but you have to now switch your focus, switch your mind, and now start to look at, okay, what's my leadership style? Because if you can't identify what your leadership style is, like I can tell you what my leadership style is, I can tell you the types of personalities that cause me difficulty. And so for that, I'm able to flex in and out if you're knowledgeable and you understand those types of things. So, those, like I said, those are the types of traits that we want you guys to focus on as you're going through your career and trying to build those things. Did that spark anybody's questions, any comments or anything like that? I see, Mary, you're trying to talk, but we can't hear you.
No, I think it's just because I'm not muted.
Oh, okay. You're not muted. Okay. Let's see. I see the little bars going over. We have to, as we start to develop the minorities in cybersecurity community, and as we try to reach out and become better, being able to become better at helping you guys, the more important thing is to be able to talk to the people that you have on the phone. And of course, I don't know everybody that's out there or where everybody is. Do we have any students out there today? Are you all professionals that are in the cybersecurity field? Do we have anybody that's not in the cybersecurity field? Are you just all, it doesn't matter what question I ask, you're all just not going to say anything? Is that what we're doing today?
That's right. Y'all could be saying no. Yeah, I'm live. Hello. Hi, Mary. This is Starsha Sewell. I'm one of your mentees, and I'm here, but I'm on the road, so I'm on my Bluetooth. But as it relates to cybersecurity, I am in the cybersecurity industry. I started off as a technical writer for the industry, and currently I work in the project management capacity at the Internal Revenue Service as a government contractor. So that's just a little bit about me. I'm also an entrepreneur, and I deliver independent solutions for cybersecurity. I'm in the process of building a school online university for that. Independently.
That sounds amazing. And so you don't seem to have a problem with showing initiative, huh?
Well, thank you. Yes, it's just that I'm driving with my Bluetooth, and I just wanted to make sure I was not distracted, but I did want to participate, and I am here.
Well, that's great. That's great. Well, thank you for giving us a shout-out and letting me know I'm not just talking to myself.
Yes,
me and Dina are just not having a conversation.
Okay.
Anybody
Hey,
else
Mary, it's Talisa. I'm actually on a split call, so I'm in two meetings at once at the moment, so that's why you're not getting much participation from me. But I definitely wanted to listen in and see how everybody was doing.
Well, that's great, Talisa. It's good to hear from you. Anybody else want to send me a shout-out? We got shout-outs.
Hey, Mary, it's Leslie.
Hey, Leslie.
Hey. And as you know, I'm new to cybersecurity. I finally broke in and got a job in cybersecurity at the entry level as a cybersecurity analyst / ISO level 1. So 5 months in.
That's awesome, and I'm glad to hear now. Now, Leslie has been trying for and has tried for a long time to break into cybersecurity, and it took you how long?
3 years.
3 years. I've been knowing Leslie for 3 years, and she's been trying to break into cybersecurity for 3 years, and she's finally made it. So congratulations! I'm really happy for you. Couldn't be anything but happy for you, and showing that. It not only initiative but resiliency to continue going even in the face of some adversity.
Thank you.
Hey, Leslie, can you talk a little bit about your process into actually getting into cyber after 3 years?
The only thing I did was I kept applying 2 positions, and I kept going to job fairs, and then I became a mentee of Mary's and just, listened to her and, just kept applying. And networking. I think networking was also very, very big for me. I met a lady who is in cybersecurity, has been doing it for 16 years, is really, really well connected, and she took my resume and she would shop it around when I couldn't go to job fairs, and she put me in touch with people, but it finally happened. There was a company that I was interested in. I kept just like applying to them, applying, and then they finally called me back, and I got an interview. I got hired for a mid-level position, but then which was supposed to start in this January, but then they called me back and said, hey, we have something open now. Can you come now? Okay. But the job turned out to be entry level. So I kind of had to make a decision, and I talked with the recruiter and I said, look, there's a big difference here. And he said, yeah, just get in, get your feet wet, and, everything else will fall into place. So we'll see if that happens or not.
Well, once you're in, you're in, I think.
Well, the group that I'm in is kind of quirky. It's very interesting. So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I think it's easier to transition from one cybersecurity position to the next, and you're just trying to get your skills or build your skills in the area. You have to, when you're now building your career, take into consideration where you are, what skills you can learn and develop at the place that you are. If you have any ability to, broaden your areas of responsibility to get you to learn more. The government is good for assisting with training and things like that. So you have to look at it holistically, not just narrow-mindedly from the day-to-day activities, but what other things that they can offer you that will now help you from a skills perspective as you continue to build your career in the space. So, like I said,
exactly.
I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of you.
That's true, because what I'm doing is actually very, very new to me. So I am learning a lot. There is a lot to learn, and it is a lot of responsibility, and there is some training. They are very, very big on goal setting, and your manager sets goals for you, and then you have to set goals for you. But when that happens, you have to meet those goals by the end of the year, or they frown very big upon that. So there's a lot that I am learning that, because I'm accrediting systems. So there's a whole lot that I'm responsible for, because I'm signing documents and, they have to be correct. So there's a lot. Everything I'm doing right now, it's all brand new to me. So, yeah, the skill set is going to be, there. And then, like you say, just building upon that and trying to figure out where do I go from here, and how long do I want to stay in this particular position.
Yeah, I think that, and there's a trick to goal and objective setting as well, and that's one I was actually talking to someone to put that on the put that on the agenda. For the conference, and how to go about setting your goals and objectives in a way that will allow you to achieve them, but then stretch out of those. Because, like I said, GE was really big on that, and Johnson & Johnson and Comcast were not so much big on. Okay, I didn't stay at Comcast long enough for it to be relevant. However, I know that Johnson & Johnson wasn't as structured as GE Capital when it came to setting and achieving goals from a year-to-year perspective. But you know what?
Okay.
What GE did do is they for the stretch goals, they would say fail and fail fast, and if you're not going to accomplish it at mid-year, you can actually change that goal. So it wasn't so set in stone that it wasn't, if mid-year came and you knew it wasn't going to happen, then you could change it or whatever, or you can add something to it. But yeah, that's always important to be able to set them to where they're achievable, but then also leave a couple things in your back pocket so you can add it later and say, see, I did this extra too. So
okay. So yes, in this position, in this role, I am being stretched because I really am. It's uncomfortable, but the goal is to to hang in here, get the year under my belt, and see where it evolves or where I go from there. Will I stay here or will I go somewhere else? I'm not sure yet.
You don't grow by being comfortable. You only grow if you're uncomfortable.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, life isn't worth it if you're complacent. That's not showing initiative. So you're fine. You're doing well. Anybody else out there? I got a couple more people that I have not heard from. I see you. They're not going to say anything. I should really call you out, but you're lucky we only have 5 more minutes. Did we have any questions, any hot spots, any topics that are not on initiative that we wanted to address, any problems that anybody's facing? I usually try to give the benefit of experience when dealing with challenges. Or anybody out there going through something that they want advice on?
Yeah. Talisa here again. So basically, I moved into a compliance role, so information security compliance, dealing with like ISO 27001, SOC 2, PCI, things of that nature. But I'm still like really new, really green to this area. So I have an internal audit coming up, which I am supposed to lead some portions. I just don't kind of have a strategy of how to accomplish that within the next couple months. So if anybody has any resources, especially around SOC 2 or ISO 27001 or 27018 that you're willing to send me, I'm more than happy to accept that and definitely could use all the help that I can get.
Well, that's what I use ISO 27001 when I assess my clients, and I'm actually assessing a client utilizing that right now. So we should schedule some time to talk because I don't think it's going to be as difficult as you think it is. It's just looking at it from a different perspective. And the compliance piece or the audit piece is really just making sure everything is working like they say they work. So, it's more so if you tell me that you have an incident response strategy where you have incident levels, red, yellow, green, blue, whatever those colors may be, show me the plan and then show me proof that it works, right? And so when I've gone through audits and I've been in that situation that I'm, compliance or checking, things like that, the check part is just showing you evidence. They have to give you evidence of everything that you're asking. So, and enough about the way things should be working because you're coming from the other side of the house to know when someone's blowing smoke.
That's true.
So, no, Ty, we could have that conversation. It's just a different side of your brain that you're utilizing, and it's really just about checking what they're doing. But we can have that conversation because I'm going through an assessment right now. I'll be more than happy to share.
Thank you.
2 minutes. Anybody else with any problems that you want to talk about? Pressing? No? Well, I want to thank you all for joining the call. Hopefully you wrote down your 3 things and you have something, takeaways that you can have going forward for at least on initiative. I want to thank Dr. Dina for spending some time with us today. I know how hard it is to get on your calendar. So hopefully all of you will be registering for the conference and coming out to the conference in September. And I hope to talk to you guys again next month. So thanks again, everybody, and you guys have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.